Hey friends, welcome back. You might be able to hear a little bit of rain, so that's always a fun little thing to draw to, but thanks for joining me. Today I have been searching the interwebs and came across a channel called Broken Draw, which I will definitely link in the description. There's a card for it right here, and he's talking about the 5 levels of drawing practice, and each one of the levels has 5 specific exercises, and I thought, you know what, let's go through some of them until we get to stuff that we can't do, and we'll probably break this out into a couple different things. So this first one is level 1, and it is just basically lines, rotating 2D plane, point through, so you make a point, draw lines through it, as well as making ribbons, and I'm pretty sure there's another one that I cannot come up with off the top of my head, but it doesn't matter, we'll figure it out and we'll get there. So that is the goal for today, and I thought maybe we would not do time lapse for this one, and then anybody that's watching can let me know whether it's good or not. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So we're going to start things off with just lines, and you know, like I've said in the other one, that the very first video that I posted, is just doing lines is kind of boring and lame. And so the difference here, when we're talking about doing lines with this, is he's talking about just basically tracing over the line that you've made in an effort to work your hand-eye coordination, which this is one of those things that I don't really know helps me that much, but we'll do it. We'll do it for the sake of the video, sake of what it is that we're looking at here. Oh yeah, I don't need help on this, and then there you go, screwing it up. So what do you guys like to do for practice? What are the things that you fill your sketchbook with? Let me know in the comments. I would love to essentially do them with you as I try to work on making all of this help me get better. I don't know, I thought some diagonal lines would be kind of fun. So here we are, making diagonals. I don't know how well you guys can hear the scritchy scratch of pencil and paper, but this kind of doubles as a ASMR type of deal. So again, I feel like lines are one of those things where I don't really feel like it's doing a whole lot. And one of the things that he said in the Broken Draw video was do it until they're incredibly boring. And I kind of feel like I'm there for these curved lines and straight lines and all of that. So yeah, I say that and then completely make mistakes. What do your guys' sketchbooks look like? Do you have them filled up with just random doodles? Do you do what I'm doing and come up with a plan for each day. One of the things I'm trying to do here, which he did mention, is work on using my hand, my wrist, my elbow, and also my shoulder, and just work on using all three of them. Like, that's awful, but using all three of them to really make sure you have coordination in all three. It's like, okay, I can probably do that. Alright, I feel like that's probably enough lines. Next is going to be a 2D plane that we then rotate. So a basic example is, let's use a square. And then we're going to rotate this plane. So obviously this side's going to be the exact same height. This is going to be just slightly smaller. And it's going to look like our shape is rotating away from us. That's way too skinny. It's fine, we'll make it work. Now, one of the things I think of as we're doing this is how I would be able to utilize some skill like this to make my drawings have better perspective, which I think is probably the overall goal. I don't know, is this cheating? Is it cheating to make that line like that? It's definitely too far. We'll correct it here. Fun times. Maybe with a triangle. And as we do this, I'm trying to make this line get more and more vertical, just like this line getting more and more vertical as well. That's probably too long. There we go, that's better. I like it. Okay. Circles? It just doesn't feel right. I don't feel like I'm just supposed to make the circle skinny. But at the same time, I don't know exactly what should be different, so maybe we'll reference that again at some point here soon. Sure. Got fuzzy hanging out of my arm. All right. Next is the point draw through. Make a point, and then we're basically just trying to draw a line through that point. Over and over and over again. Keep the line straight. Ooh, we missed there. I feel like this is probably one of those things that the faster you go, the harder it is. Actually, I'm finding personally it's harder if I don't use my wrist. So like if I'm just using my wrist for this, this feels pretty easy. It's when I start trying to use like my whole arm to draw through, or just my elbow, then it gets a little messed up. See, these are all just a slightly bit off, which I am not surprised by. Okay, all right. We'll do one more. Also, I find that going away is easier than going towards the center of my body. See, like going like this out feels more natural than going in on a lot of these. I don't know why. I'm sure there's some sort of reason. That was terrible, but that's true. I just don't know what it is. Goodness gracious. I should have stopped when I was ahead. That is awful looking. All right, next is parallel ellipses. So we draw a guideline, and now we just basically are making ellipses. And we want them to be next to each other and parallel and have this equally, like 50%, 50%. I don't exactly know what this is supposed to be doing. Other than the fact that that ellipse is awful looking. Little tiny guy. But apparently it's important, so let's do it. Yeah, I don't know. Unless maybe it's about drawing ellipses in a funky angle. I don't really know. Yeah, so if somebody knows what exactly it is that this exercise is supposed to be helping me with, leave me a comment. Because this just kind of feels... Well, maybe this skill... he did say that you do these until they just feel super boring. Maybe this is something that just clicks, and I'm just so good at it that it doesn't feel like anything to me. Which, I gotta think that that's probably not true. So, there's something here that I'm missing. I don't know. And last but not least is going to be ribbons. And so the way that it was described is you put a squiggle on the page. Don't go under it and follow along. The idea would be that you would draw a parallel line exactly the equidistance, here to here is the same all the way through, which wasn't perfect there, but that makes it look like a ribbon, which is great. Obviously, like this line here would be straight across to make a ribbon, like, I don't know. And then you can also play with depth perception. So if we do the exact same thing, have it be a little bit smaller, then as we're doing this whole thing, we can come down here, and by having it decrease in size, it gives the illusion of being in the foreground and then the background. I can see that, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get crazy with it. Maybe it goes the opposite direction this time. That's awful. I'm trying really hard. I don't know if you've noticed I have a pencil now as opposed to a pen. I'm trying really hard not to erase. Like, doesn't look great. But I also want to leave it so that way I can look at it and then try to make any kind of adjustments that are necessary by oops. Again, terrible. I don't know. It got really crazy. Alright, well, it seems like this is something that I need to continue working on, so that way we can ensure that we get better. I realized, I think if I do it on a plane, like flat, yeah, I think that's part of the issue, which is definitely something that I need to address, because if I'm doing it when it's like the start and the end point are perpendicular or are perfectly straight across, this feels so much more natural, but doing it at an angle makes my brain hurt. So we'll see if we can't come up with something. That felt pretty acceptable, I guess. But yeah, if you connect this and you connect that, I can see how that's a two-dimensional shape. Let's see if we can get a really good one by doing what we're not supposed to do and erasing the areas that are potentially problems. So if we do this, connect there and then connect here, then we get in there and erase this little bit here. Can we make this look like a fancy, fancy ribbon? That doesn't look bad. Not bad at all. It's not what we're trying to do, but I get the idea of why it's called a ribbon. All right, well, that's the first 5 in level 1. Level 1. That's the first 5 exercises. I'm going to continue working on my ribbons because they are awful. And hopefully, if this is something, don't go like that. If this is something that you are good at, you should let me know what you do to practice this, because I am not good at it. I guess that's kind of how it goes with lots of things when you're trying to do drawings. All right, well, that's level 1. We'll try again with level 2. You know, it's funny. I was going through this video. Like I said, it's in the comments, or not the comments, the description. But I was going through the video and I was like, oh man, I could do the thing in level 4. And then I'm like, wow, I can do none of the things in level 3. So it's just kind of weird how you can be a little bit all over the place when it comes to being able to look at things and duplicate stuff. But so here's level 4 or level 1, and I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.